Hello, I'm PJ Bishop. Welcome to my channel and the ongoing series with the Oakland A's. The season has finally concluded, and as you can see, I could not get that one win to get us without that 100 losses. I was trying to avoid 100 losses at all costs. Just couldn't quite pull it off. So we have to settle for a 62 and 100 season, which is still an improvement from last year. I believe, if I look at that correctly, last year they were 50, 112, so a 12-game improvement from the year before. In my opinion, is a start. We're definitely heading in the right direction. Let's see what we can go over here as far as what we did. We finished first in stolen bases, which I expected, but offensively we were pretty much dead last in most categories. And same thing with pitching. Base running was well. We did well on that as well. But everything else we pretty much stunk at. We were last or dead last in most pitching rankings, and of course our defense wasn't very good either, but it looks like it improved slightly when I was playing guys toward the end of the year that were actually pretty good at their positions. So that bodes well for next year when we can start back up and hopefully have guys playing where they should. It was a good month for us, actually. If you go look at our team stats here, we actually finished 14 and 12, a winning record in the final month, in a month where I was just trying to play the young guys and seeing what we have possibly heading to next year. So that was an interesting thing. Let's see what we have. Not many transactions or news-worthy things happened over the month. Of course, Denzel did make his debut September 1st. At right field, batting 8th, he went 1 for 4 in the day with a run scored and an RBI. He did strike out twice. And where is he? I didn't have him starting. But he ended up playing. As you can see, oh yeah, another tip. Toward the end of the year, I don't know if you guys noticed that sometimes the development lab seems like it doesn't work correctly. Because in my opinion, I feel like you don't have accurate scouting. So when the guys go to the development lab, all that ends up being is a corrected scouting report. So what I recommend doing, and this is my first time trying it and see if it will work, is request a scouting report on anyone that you might think of putting through the development lab. This way, come into the season, they should be scouted almost exactly where they are currently, and you can really see where their weaknesses are. That way, hopefully, when they go to the development lab, there's less of this variance where all of a sudden your guy who had 60 power now just has 55. A guy whose potential to be 60 is now potential 50, and you're like, what happened in the few months that we were going through the development lab? How did he get worse by this much? In my opinion, I think it's just bad scouting reports. So if you can get enough scouting reports on the guy before the lab comes out, hopefully you'll get a better results. That's something I'm trying. I'll let you know how it works. But I did let Denzel Clark play a lot, as you can see here. Played in 24 games. And played and started in all 24 games that he appeared in. Pretty much just let him have his way, hoping that to see what he has there. And he did okay. Average 250. The on-base percentage wasn't bad. The slugging could get a little better. No home runs, as you can see. But he does have above average power, so the power is going to come, and that will help raise his OPS, make him look a little more better offensively. And he ended up playing right field mostly. On occasion, I had him in center field, but it was exciting to see what our future holds, and I think he's got a good future. Held his own, came all the way up from Double A. I think next year he's going to have a much better time. Plus, I can squeeze him through the development lab. And September 25th, September 8th, we were officially eliminated from the playoffs. The 4th year in a row that Oakland A's have missed the playoffs. Last time happened in 2020. September 25th, I ended up demoting left-handed pitcher Scott Alexander to AAA to make room for Daryl Hernandez, who I activated from the IL. As you can see here, I Uh, he's had a rough going for us. Got a few games in toward the end of the year, but really still hasn't clicked. He should, because he looks like he's talented enough. It's just a matter of getting it to click, and I think it will, especially with his high work ethic. Another guy that started off in Double A, but he was doing well there. Did well at Triple A. So I think it's just a matter of time before it clicks for him as well. Exciting times ahead for us. Yeah, then something that was exciting within the organization, September 30th, our High A affiliate, the Lansing Lugnuts, ended up winning a championship. So that was something else. So that's 2 championships in our minor league organization this year. We won the Arizona Complex, and we also won the High A. Get a little more detail on what they did. There it is. Look at that. Isn't that nice? That's champions, Lansing Lugnuts. Playoff tree. See what we did in round 2. Does it give us day by day? Actually, isn't it easier to go through the schedule? Schedule. Where was that? Do I go back? I could go back in days. Oh, of course, there we go. There it is. That was game. There, that was game 1. This is game 1 here. Just nice to see what we did. Ended up beating them pretty easily. Game 1, 8-1. So that was quite an easy victory for us. You can see all the top performers from one of my boys, Ryan Lasco. 2 for 4, 2 homers. He's not a top prospect. He's just along for the joyride. David, he is a top prospect. David Leal was one of our top prospects. Mainly because of his control. He doesn't have any stuff. Movement's there. Control is what's getting him. But he had a solid playoffs, as you can see. In the 2 games against Peoria, he ended up giving up only 1 earned run. Look at that. That is solid. Started the year off at Double A, where he wasn't doing that bad. 509, but ended up being demoted. And turned out great for us. I know he's kind of old for the High A, but it worked out well for me. And of course, Mac Muncy is one of our. Oh, he's not one of our top prospects. I'm very surprised. He will be. Pretty sure he will be soon enough. And then, of course, game 2, we ended up winning that one 5-2. So now we have a 2-0 lead. Johnny Butler had a good game in that one. 2 for 4, home run, 3 RBIs. The pitcher didn't do bad, Quinn Matthews. What's he look like? 30, 40. And then Caden Trinkle, another guy that's just along for the ride. 2 for 4 with a double and 2 RBIs. Game 3, I believe they snuck that one out 4-3. That was a close one. They were just slightly better. So they weren't, so no sweep for us. Quincy here, as you can see. 2 for 4, double home run. Did his best, but wasn't enough. And then we took game 5. Where's this game? What game is this? This is game 5, right? Because we took it 3-2. We took this one in extra innings. Took 10 innings to beat them 7-6, but nonetheless we did it. Interesting to see who their top prospects are at this level. Quincy again with a big game. 2 for 5, double, a home run, 3 RBIs, and a run. And then, of course, that was game 4. So this is game 5. So this is game 5. We take the Another extra inning game as well. A one inning. This is a one-run game. It took 11 innings just to get one run across the board. Both teams played extremely well, but we took the win, 1-0. David Leal was our beast again. Another monster game. He had two monster games in this series. Just 3 hits, no walks, which is expected with his control. Which is, imagine how good it is down there. I'm surprised it's not my guy. Ooh. Oh no, they took the lead. I'm sorry. Yeah, they won that game. We did. They won the game in extra 3-2, but we still lead the series 3-2. And then, of course, the deciding game 6 for us. He's up. Oh, they promoted him back to AA. Interesting. Was the final game where we ended up winning fairly easily, 9-6. It was a good game for us. You can see Westenberger had 3 saves in the postseason. Holman was 2-0 with a 1.74 ERA in the postseason. This game's MVP was Max Luncy, went 1-for-4, home run, 3 RBIs. So that was that. Win the series 4-2. To bring home 2 championships for our organization. How did that pitching do? Kyle Muller, as you can see, went on a pretty good tear over the past month. Got his ERA to a respectable 4.81 after starting off terrible. I mean, look at just 5 starts ago, he was 5.73. But he put together 3 quality starts. Had a couple of times where he was damaged, dominated for 3 runs. But when he was good, he was pretty darn good. So exciting to see him find it. Because he was actually doing worse at AAA. So he's actually somehow figured out how to play better baseball. And ended up having a pretty, I would say, respectable. It's nothing to write home about, but considering how he started, this is good. This is good news. JP Sears finally got his groove back, I guess. Got his ERA fairly respectable on the year. He had a complete game shutout against the New York Yankees. I just gave up 5 hits, 2 walks, struck out 7. That was a really good game by him. So that was exciting during our run in September. But as you can see, 3 quality starts of his last 5. Aside from 3 earned runs against Seattle, and that was in 6 innings. He was pretty good in most games. Adrian Martinez has just kind of fallen off since his beginning. At one point, he was our best pitcher as far as ERA is concerned. Wins, when we were putting him out, we were actually winning games. Stevie Emanuels was doing well until the final game. You can see, well, I guess two of his last 3 games really ruined his ERA because at one point he was down. This always scares me when I see young, below-average pitchers with this kind of ERA. It means that there's some really bad games coming up. And sure enough, 1 bad game, 2 bad games. And now his ERA is probably sitting where you would expect. He did hold his own, I would say, a few times. Just kind of 2 of the last 3 starts kind of got away from him as he found himself just struggling to keep up with some of the players. I don't blame him. For some reason, Seattle was extremely motivated to keep us from not losing. This is the final game of the year. We were 62-99. And they were like, yeah, you're going to lose 100 games. They ended up beating us 18-8. I mean, they couldn't. I don't know what their motivation was, considering they were eliminated from the playoffs as well. And then Luis Medina never really clicked. It was never. As you can see, he gave up an earned run pretty much in every single game he appeared in. He just really struggled to find his way. More than likely, he's going to be in the minors to start next year. Our relievers our bullpen looks pretty solid. As you can see here, Fernando Cruz is sub-3 ERA. Didn't get to play much for me this year due to his injury. So I'm looking forward to him coming back next year healthy and strong. Because the little peripheral stats look nice. I know he's on the older end when it comes to, obviously, his playing years, but if he can contribute like he did this year for us, we've got some good things coming ahead. Geraldo Reyes was solid, really good 3.1 ERA. And the rest of these guys, Mason Miller, far cry from what he was to start the season. Maybe it was, not really sure what his issue was. Too many innings, a couple bad starts, a couple bad runs really got him down. And Michael Kelly, again, was someone that I was expecting a little better, a little disappointing with his ERA. Although he has done the last 5 appearances, no runs. He needs that. I hope he stays hot like that heading into next year because really lost it. I won't put Adam as a setup because I thought he was good. Francisco Perez, excellent ERA 3.23. Jerson Moreno, same 3.63. Austin Adams is okay 4.97. He's problems control issues. He's got really elite level stuff, but he just can't control it. So he's always going to be hanging around as a mop-up guy for us. And Joey Boyle, tough time for him. He had a better ERA. Then I let him start a few games. Ended up getting 4 starts, and it just didn't work out well. Of course, the last game against Seattle really hurt as well because he was finally sub 5. And then Seattle's like, yeah, back up to 5s you go. But he's still young and could develop into a little bit better than what he is now. That's the pitching. The lineups. Surprisingly, Armando Alvarez really held up. I didn't expect him to hold up this well. But he's got nearly 200 at bats. Still is batting over 300. The slugging percentage was there. He ended up with 8 homers. So not really sure what his deal is because he doesn't look like he can bat 300 with what he's got going on here. Aside from first base, is not excited to put him anywhere else. But he was still slugging at a pretty high rate. 498 is really good. So we'll see. Maybe we got a sneaky good player, or this is just a fluke and he'll be below average come next year. Brent Rooker really struggled over the past month, as you can see here. Dropped all the way down to 789. Still finished with a 2020 year, 22 homers, 27 stolen bases. Just kind of fell off toward the end of the year. Didn't really do much slowly, but surely just got worse and worse. Of course, and then our only other decent guy was Zach Geloff, who ended up a respectable campaign. Still room to grow. I still think he can get better. Apparently he's selfish. I still think he can get better. What did he end up stealing? He ended up stealing 90 bases, 14 homers, 90 bases. I think if he was fully healthy, he would have easily gotten at least 20 homers. And I don't know about 20 homers, but he would have at least gotten 100 stolen bases. Looking forward to getting him back next year. And then how did some of our top prospects compare? We already saw Denzel. Max Schumann, aside from this, nothing's too exciting about him, although he is versatile when it comes to defense, which gives us value as far as the super utility is concerned. What do we got here? And of course, we got Daryl. We saw him. He struggled toward the end of the year. Of course, Lazaro couldn't, even when I gave him plenty of starts toward the end of the year, he just couldn't find it. Every now and then he'll do something that makes me go, hey, there we go. He'll hit like a random home run. But he just couldn't really find his footing. But long term, I like him as a good outfield option to fill in when guys get tired or injured. And then Esther Ruiz still couldn't find his footing, despite I really would love to utilize this. He's really solid defensively. So he should help us defend. If he could just have average offense to help us, because his defense could be used, considering how bad our defense was. And this right here is extremely valuable to me. Just if he can just be average offensively, that would help. So that's that. Let's take a look at the playoff coverage so you can kind of understand who's in. As you can see here, for the AL, the two buys are Baltimore and Houston. On the NL side, it's Atlanta and Los Angeles Dodgers. Really, as expected. I mean, if you think about it, the Braves one of the best, Dodgers one of the best, Orioles with that young team, and of course Houston Astros. And then for the wild card, we got Texas, Toronto, Minnesota, and Cleveland. I guess we could look at standings. Baltimore wins their division by 8 games over Toronto. Yankees, worst team in their division. Cleveland wins their division by 3. Houston, 3 games up over Texas, wins theirs. There's us, we suck. And of course, Atlanta ends up beating New York by 13. This one, Milwaukee wins the division. Cincinnati makes the playoffs. LA wins the division. And San Francisco makes the playoffs. With the wild cards here, San Fran, Cincinnati, and New York. New York, a wild card team. There we go. Philadelphia didn't make it. San Diego. It's weird because baseball is so weird because there's a lot of teams that we consider good that don't make the playoffs. Like Philadelphia is a good team. San Diego is really a good team. After that, Arizona's a good team too. In the AL, it's Toronto, Texas. Did Minnesota get in or Detroit? Are they in the playoff right now? They're not getting in. Minnesota gets in. Okay. It's very curious. What about us? Oh, we did better than White Sox. We're not the worst team. We are still with the second worst team in all of baseball. Is there an expanded? No. Can I get it where it's the entire? I want to see the entirety of the whole thing. That's the playoffs. I will keep you updated on who's doing what at the end of the year, so we'll know who wins. But that's it for this year. Unfortunately, we didn't make the playoffs. Wasn't really expecting to make the playoffs, but we just gotta pick it up for next year. But don't forget that tip. Try to see if it works for you. I'm gonna see if it works for me, and hopefully, Development Lab has better results. That's it for this video. I will see you at the end of the postseason.